This week's LC Player of the Week for our last week is the second grade Hurricanes Pickle. And Pickle has been in our league for a long time. Sometimes runs in the shadow of his sister, Charlie Grace, but not this week. This week, Pickle, we celebrate you. Your coach said that you scored your first basket of the season. You did a great job dribbling and rebounding this week. Congratulations on your points. And for your efforts this week, Pickle, you are LC Sports Player of the Week.
Yes, and the Coach of the Week, sponsored by Exquisite Irrigation and Landscaping Company, is none other than Jessica Clay. Jessica Clay came in as just a parent with a kindergarten little guy, and she easily just stepped into an assistant role. She did a phenomenal job of just being so consistent, so encouraging to those 5-year-olds. And it was just a joy to watch her interact with them in a way that was positive, that was encouraging, that was life-giving. So, Jessica, you are our last Coach of the Week for the 2024-25 basketball season, sponsored by Exquisite Lawns and Landscaping.
All right, welcome to week 35 or podcast 35, which is officially the end of our basketball season.
Yeah.
Man, what a great season. And we are so excited this week because we have a referee roundtable. So if this is your first podcast to turn into, you picked a good one.
Yeah.
This one's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We have a lot of questions, a lot of character sitting around this table right now.
Yep.
So, man, what sticks out to you so far about this season as you look back?
This is gonna sound like, whoa, hold on, wait a second, but like it was just so easy.
Yeah,
like it was so smooth, it was so easy. Maybe I've done it a couple of times, and that's the reason why. But I also think that it was so smooth and so easy because of the men
These
sitting
guys,
around
yeah.
the table, 100%.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, agree. Wholeheartedly agree. And so before we get into what made it special for everybody at this table, because I think we do need to go around the table and ask, why you guys keep doing this.
Yeah.
But what I'd like to do is I'd like for you guys to introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about you and how long you've been doing this, and go ahead and tell them why. So, Jared, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Jared Phillips. I have been with the league since 2019 when we moved here. Started in kinder and have just kind of gotten more involved as we go on. I just took a kind of just a ref role this year, which was new for me. I'm usually coaching as well. And so I really love the reffing aspect of it because I feel like you get even more time with the players than the coaches even do. And so getting to interact with them play by play, talking to them as they're going down the floor, explaining different things to them that they may not get to hear in a practice because it's live. And so I really enjoy, I think the biggest part that I love is just watching so much improvement. Like from the bottom to the top, you can see kids that are learning the game of basketball.
Yeah, for sure.
So fun.
Charlie?
Yeah, I've been here. I just finished my 18th season.
Wow.
So does that mean that Jackson was in kinder?
No,
What does that mean?
Brick,
Your oldest.
the one that turns 24 on Monday. I mean 27 on Monday. Was in 4th grade. We had transitioned over from baseball to I don't want to play baseball anymore. I want to play basketball, and everybody else's basketball was already filled up.
Well, thank the Lord for that.
So we ended up here.
Yeah,
And
that's good. Good for us.
yeah, I came in as a parent that lasted about 2 practices, and then I ended up helping coach. Went from coach to my younger son Jackson, actually, and I continued to coach him. Refereed for several years. For several years, I was exclusive with another partner. We did all the 4th grade games.
Yeah.
While I was still coaching 5th and 6th grade boys, then converted over to the commissioner and helping run admin when we broke into multiple gyms because we'd gotten so large. And then this year, exclusively just being commissioner and fill in ref whenever somebody's not going to be here or whatever. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so you said, let's give Richard a microphone. And I said, no, let's not. But I lost out. And so here we have Richard. Richard's a big part of our program, too. So tell us a little bit about
Thank you for letting me have a microphone first.
You're welcome.
Even though they would hear me without it. My name is Richard Kale. I 7 or 8 years with the league.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But this league is the reason why I started coming to this church, because we attended a game of one of our friends, our mutual friend.
Yeah.
His son was playing here, and when we saw what was going on here, we were looking for a church. We had gone to one that was really small, that didn't really have a good youth program. Not to knock on it or anything. I won't name any names.
No, go ahead. We want to.
Then we went to one of those mega churches, it's actually demolished now. It was right there on 360 and 20.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that one, right? Yeah. And we were like, oh, that's, this is way too much. And we were just blessed to come here. And then, it was like the next week we came. So it took me a couple of years after we started coming here to get involved,
Right.
because my kids are not athletic. But that's okay too. They're very brilliant children. So, so I don't know. I think it's 7, 8-ish year.
Yeah.
Who's counting?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. We're just grateful.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much so. And Renee. We love Renee.
Hey, I'm Renee Fierro. I've been with you guys for 5 years now. Okay, I started in 2020 with you guys at Young Junior High.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was just a chance thing. I had been doing baseball for a guy named Curtis, right? And he just happened to ask me, he says, Renee, do you know how to do basketball? And I go, yeah, I know how to do basketball, man. I quit for a while because I did all levels, I did college, I did the high school, I did the middle school, kindergartens, and after a while, it just, from doing it so often, I got tired of it,
Right.
So he was like, dude, I need your help, bro. Like I'll pay you extra, I'll give you gas money, he was like sweetening up the deal real good.
Wow. Yeah.
And I said, all right, man, all right. And it was on Saturday, And I go, okay, usually I do baseball on Saturday, because I'm a big baseball. I love baseball. But at the same time, I love basketball.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll go, And I went, and ever since then, I love the kids.
Yeah.
I love the league, I love watching them grow. I love watching them learn, I love the coaches, those guys are awesome. They do such a good job with those kids, I do it because it takes me back to when my kids were little, you know what I'm saying? And I used to watch the coaches, now they taught them and all that. And I show up because also when I was young, I didn't live, my parents weren't the wealthiest. My father was a farm worker and my mom was a house mom, and my basketball game, sometimes the refs wouldn't show up,
Yeah.
And that hurt, man. It still hurts.
Right.
To this day it hurts, and I couldn't bear the thought of me doing that to one of them.
Yeah.
That would just break my heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we see that play out when you're with the kids on the court. That's pretty obvious. So that's a really cool thing. And you talk about how, basketball, baseball, like you guys are gluttons because I feel like y'all are all about all the sports, right? And a funny story, last night I was at my son's baseball game. And as I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the home plate umpire, and I'm like, I know that guy from somewhere. He turns around, and I'm wearing this shirt, and he turns around, and he goes, "Hey, LC." And I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Yeah, I did a lot of y'all. I reffed a lot of y'all's games this year."
Oh, cool.
And it was one of our
That's
paid
nice.
referees.
Nice.
And so it just made me immediately. I told my wife, I was like, it just makes me think of the guys that we have in our league and the brand that we have now. That every week those guys come and they say, man, there's just something different about this league. The guys that we pay to do this, and it just amazes me that we have you guys that come in and do this. Like, you volunteer your time, you come in and you do this and develop these relationships with these kids. So we're just so super thankful that each of you have been here a while.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So, okay, that's enough of the mushy stuff. Now we've got questions for you guys. We want to get to know you a little bit better. But I say that's enough of the mushy stuff. But I really would like to know, Renee, I'll start with you. What's your favorite memory
I got two. I
Okay.
have two.
Okay.
Okay, and you guys mentioned it earlier. Pickles first basket.
Yeah.
Okay, because everybody jumped for joy on that one. not just
That's awesome.
their team, but the opposing team too,
Yeah.
because some of the opposing team know who he is.
Right.
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 The people in the crowd.
Yeah.
They just. I mean, they had me jumping up and down, because
Yeah.
the poor kid works so hard.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
works so hard every week. I see him working so hard, and I'll tell him, hey, no, watch your hands, stay in front, that kind of thing. That one and little is it Keegan? Keegan, the little Keegan, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, he's a little guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was a fast break, and I think it was Isaac, the tall boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went up for a layup, right? And he thought that he had the 2 points free and clear. And little Kean just comes, little body just comes flying out of nowhere, man. And he caught his hand,
Yeah.
mind you, and I had to call a foul on him,
Right.
but
You were
he
proud of
blocked
him.
that ball.
Yeah.
And man, as I'm blowing the whistle, I'm laughing. I'm like,
Yeah.
because and as he's blocking him, he's telling him, get that out of here,
Which Isaiah is the
Yes,
tallest.
Isaiah
He is the
much
tallest kid in the
taller than
league.
him.
Tallest
The
kid.
I'm
tallest.
talking. You're talking
Yeah.
like Shaq compared to Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, for real.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he's he's that tall, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he hustled. Because it was a fast break, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isaac was breaking, and he, little man ran from that side of the floor. He turned his head and he ran.
Yeah.
And he just kept that eye on him. And as he was going up, he just,
Yeah.
and there goes the ball. And I called a foul on him. He goes, "Oh man, come on, ref!" And I go, "You got his hand?" He goes, "Yeah." He tells me, "Yeah, I got it. He goes, "But I got the ball too," And those were my two favorite moments that I can't forget those.
Yeah. What about you guys? Anybody have anything off the top that you remember most?
Yeah, I would say I think I have two. One is so I mainly refed here at the LC, which is the lower grades. There's two memories that I have. One, it was a kindergarten game, and I think that I told this to you on one of the podcasts. I was refereeing Taya's game
Yeah.
because I can't stand to let anybody else ref it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some work in the coming seasons. But she kept getting fouled like pretty hard,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't call it. And Dean, of course, he's coaching.
Did he call a timeout?
And so he looks at me, and gives me like, and I'm like, she's gotta get tough, like whatever. Like she's the tallest kid on the court. She has to get tough. I mean, she's on the floor,
Yeah.
like somebody
Yeah.
fouled her that hard. I'm like, she's fine. And then the other one, again, it was Taya's game, but this one was an opposing team. It was the Cougars. And little Harper Tarrant. So if Taya is tall, Harper is short.
Yeah.
And somebody stole the ball from her. And I got behind Harper and I said, "Girl, go, get that ball." And she got it. And man, I was so excited for her. So all of mine come from the little bitty kinder games, which
Yeah.
you would lose your mind.
I'm actually calling some kindergarten games this weekend, and they're not that bad. I know it's a little different, but
Yeah.
not the weekend after that. I'm doing the tournaments, getting busy.
How about y'all? Got anything?
Yeah, I think not specific like instances, but my favorite times are when the kid that 9 times out of 10 is going to turn and dribble to the wrong basket
Yeah.
finally figures it out. And everybody in the crowd knows like
I love that,
kid
yeah.
got it. Like they figured it
Yeah.
out. It's similar to Renee's story of like everybody in the crowd, whether it was for the opposing team or not, were like cheering for this kid.
Yeah.
I also love, especially in the younger groups, but even up into the 5th and 6th grade level, is watching that one kid that maybe has shot the ball twice all season,
Yeah.
get an open shot and put it through the hoop.
Yeah.
Like the joy in their hearts, the joy on everybody else's faces is just it's indescribable.
Yeah. So before you go, I gotta stop you and I literally you're talking about something that was on my mind. The last game of the season I was at Oak Ridge, which are the 4th grade games, and we had 2 kids on either team that had not scored a basket yet this year. Less than a minute left. The first team calls a timeout, goes over to the coach and says, "This is what I want to do to kind of set this up." So and that kid had 3 looks, didn't score, but he had 3 looks at the basket. The other team rebounds. The other coach calls a timeout and says, "Okay, now I want to work it this way." They did the exact same thing. I absolutely loved that because the kids had no idea. I mean, it was very obvious, but they were oblivious to what was going on. All they knew was that they got the ball in a clear. So I agree with you on that stuff. Charlie?
I got a couple, but one I'm going to bring up is Dugan. He's got the ball. Well, he's taken off. He don't have the ball. He catches and spots up from the 3 and drains it.
That was a good one.
I remember
And he is,
that one.
and he is,
He made it.
yeah,
the only
he
one he
drained
made.
the shot.
Yeah.
But now he's pumped. Now he's pumped. So
Now he's invincible.
now he's coming back down the next time.
Oh, that ball's getting
chucked
put
it.
up.
Everybody knew the ball was
He's-
going
Half
up.
court? Was it half court?
It was the
College range, at least.
Yes, it was like
I would say it was pro.
somewhere.
Like first
No. It was 10 feet outside the 3-point line. And nobody is between him and the layup.
Yeah.
And he just,
Yep.
and it's about 3 feet short.
And everybody in the whole gym knew that ball was going in the air.
Yeah. By the way, this is the same kid that he must have been first grade or so, second grade maybe. And we went to watch him play in his soccer game. He scores a goal, runs to the middle of the field, and says, "Are you not entertained?" So there's a little bit of drama with him. He's such a great kid.
And the other one is the banter that happened the week after the makeup games at the scores table when we kept picking on Mary, telling her, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Dixon?
It's a long story. We're not going to.
Details. No details.
Yeah. Yes.
That was an inside joke that wore main inside.
You're on the inside too. You just don't
You
know
were
the
on
whole
the
joke
inside.
yet. So
Because
we'll
that
tell you
joke
after the
started
podcast.
during the 5th and 6th grade girls game.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
it. I got it.
And we were told we shouldn't tell people
Yeah.
to calm down.
Yeah, we'll talk about that maybe next year. So.
Yeah. That's what I thought
Calm down a
too.
little bit.
I wasn't going to bring it up. but
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question
Well,
for
do
you
you
guys.
have a favorite?
I do.
No, he
I
doesn't.
actually have 2. And one of them is kind of selfish. Yeah, you gave me a mic, Todd. One of them's kind of selfish. The first one is just me making it through the season.
Yes, that's a
But, I got hurt last year, and then after I finally came to, you're like, "Hey, you gonna come to the tournament or whatever?" And I'm like, "It's already over."
Yeah.
And I just been laying in the bed
Yeah.
and couch, so just making it. The other is the Aztecs. Their next to last game, because they were in the final game. How they were trying to get every kid to score a basket, and I think they got everybody except for one kid. And I mean, he had a bunch of chances, but the way they set it up, and they had a pretty talented team. You know, they could do some things like that. But they took the second half of their game, and if you hadn't scored that season, that was the
Getting the ball.
and they almost and I'm just happy for RJ because he's had some teams that were not contenders, and
Yeah.
this was,
Yeah.
it was good. But that was, those are 2. One's a little selfish, the other is
Yeah.
Well, you talk about RJ. Did you know that they made it to the championship game?
Yes,
so
they
they're
did.
here for the championship game that last night, and he sends me a message before, and he said, "Hey, can I bring confetti cannons?" And I was like, I didn't even know how to respond to
He
that.
had the game won in his head.
He really
did.
You could tell.
you obviously said no.
Yes.
That one
Oh.
seed jinx.
I'm so
He
proud.
wanted to shoot him off afterwards.
That first seed jinx. I've been to the championship 3 times. And the only one of those 3 I've lost, I was the 1 seed.
Yep.
That 1 seed.
But he did. He asked, and I was like, "Please don't tell Katrina."
Yeah.
Please don't
This
put
is the
Katrina
first
in
I've
your
heard of it.
There's always next
He
year.
knew.
We didn't have
He
to
knew
worry
you
about
would ask, and I would have said absolutely not.
That's exactly right. Okay, so you guys have alluded to how you've refereed in different age divisions over the years, and really probably Jared, this is more towards you this year, but everybody can answer this. What is your favorite age division to ref?
Yeah. I would say right now, I love 2nd and 3rd grade. They are at a point where there's definitely a big gap between best player and and lowest player, but they're starting to actually understand the game of basketball. It's not like, okay, miss a shot, keep running back and forth, turnovers, all that stuff. They're starting to really get it. They're also at a point where they don't know that they could disagree with me. Right? They're not
true.
quite at that point yet.
So true.
Talking with them, they're like, they could be upset about something, but as soon as I start explaining it, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Right?
Yeah.
They get to 4th grade,
Right.
5th
That
grade,
changes.
6th grade.
Yeah.
They start to think, you're the ref and you're not my friend.
Right.
So I'm not gonna
Yeah.
I'm not gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's my sweet spot. I've also refed up to high school as well, and I enjoy those, but as being able to connect with the kids, 2nd and 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Let me make that note.
I did I did 4th grade for a long time, and I did like the fact that they were no longer wearing wristbands. They knew what they were doing, more so what they were doing. But it was like the WWE refereeing those games.
Was it like that at a
They-
Sometimes
They are beating each other up.
that is true.
And honestly, the 5th, 6th grade level is just, the rule is the rule. Call it.
Yeah.
The disparities between people aren't as large as they are at some of the younger ages.
Yeah.
And even the ones that aren't as talented at least know what's going on and know what they're supposed to be doing, even if they're not athletically able to
Yeah.
accomplish all that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I will tell you, the 5th and 6th grade level is my least favorite to have to be a fan and not a coach or a ref. I would find myself on the back wall.
How
9
many
times out of
games
10.
did you do that? How many games did you move to the very
Every
back?
single one of my son's games this year, at least part of the game, because
He's
I
started.
wanted to say something either to my friends over here on the other side of the table,
My friends.
or the coaches on the bench, or other fans. I'm like, y'all don't understand. So my wife would just look at me, and I'd just go to the back wall,
Yeah.
and watch from back there. So
That's where he went to. We were always wondering where you went.
That's like those first 2 weeks that I said, 18 years ago that I didn't coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told I had to sit on that bench right there
Yeah.
on this side of the glass
Yeah. Yeah.
Timeout.
Yeah.
and not actually in the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why by week 3 I was actually in the gym.
Yeah, I think it's so much easier to ref the older divisions because the rule is the rule is the rule. Like when I'm reffing, 1st or 2nd or 3rd grade, not 3rd grade boys, but 2nd and 3rd grade girls. In your mind, you're thinking, okay, there has to be some leeway to the lower wristband, right? Because they're just out there and they're trying, right? But and there's tension in your mind. Should I have called that? Should I have called that? Should I let that go? But in 5th and 6th grade, like the rule is a rule and you call it. Which is way easier than the tension in your mind of, poor guy, like he this is his first year, like it doesn't matter, 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree. How about you guys? What grade?
Junior varsity for money.
Yeah.
it makes it.
It's quick money, and there, the skill is there. I do prefer 5th and 6th. But to be honest with you, like if I'm gonna have some fun, let me get the little girls. I'm a girl dad,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I had a great time doing the 5th and 6th grade. Was it 4th, 5th, and 6th championship? And I've done. I broke down and I did some little kids games with the other league that I rep with.
Please send me your schedule.
I just laugh, and they're just and like Jared said, they don't argue with you, man. Like they don't have the attitude or think that you're, against them or, it's just it's fun.
Yeah.
I think in my time reffing younger kids, I've had one kid that was he threw a ball at me, and I was the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the coach, and I was like, buddy, that was right. And he's like, no, and he sat on the bench. But most of them are very agreeable.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had a player like that last year.
You did. Yes, you did. Renee.
For me, I would say the 5th and 6th graders and the freshmen for me.
Yeah.
Because I've been on both sides of that ball. Growing up. I played in the hoop ups till I was like 45, which was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I still.
You're not 55, dude.
I'm 55,
You
bro.
probably got a fake ID that's 55.
No, I swear.
You're doing good, man.
I'm
You're doing
55, man.
You trying to get into the senior citizen gym?
Free coffee.
I'm gonna be the Jordan of the senior citizen league. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be killing them.
Yeah.
But for me, it's those two divisions. Because the freshmen, they're out to prove something. They're out.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
out to get better. They want.
Yeah.
They want out for blood, you know what I mean? And the fifth and sixth graders, they want to learn. They want to learn so bad, And when I take the time out to say something to one of the kids, it's because I know he wants to learn. And it's bugging him in his mind. What did he do wrong? What did he do wrong?
Right.
And unless I tell him what he does wrong, or the coach tells him, he's never going to know.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Right.
Right. And that's just one aspect of him getting better.
Right.
Just like in life, right? Every day we have to learn something.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's tying your shoe or, killing a bug. I don't care. You learn. Every day is a learning process, right?
Right.
And for me, that's the best thing about it for me. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
That's
That's great. Well, I'm going to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
We have at this table what I would consider a bunch of basketball junkies at this table. And so a lot of you guys are old school basketball too. I know because I've had conversations with you. So if you could switch places with any NBA player, history, and I'll let you say somebody. I mean, I guess if you want to say LeBron, you can. I don't know why you would, but either present or past, if you could switch with any NBA player in their career, who would it be?
I'm going to butt in and say legend. Todd, you're not going by the script.
No.
So now it's
I have
player.
to keep
Okay.
track of time too.
Okay.
so-
Okay. Player. All right. You're first, Renee.
Kobe Bryant.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
good one.
And why?
Because his work ethic,
Yeah.
I had a lot of that when I was a kid. What you guys don't know about me is when I was 9 years old, I joined a boxing gym and I boxed for 6 years. At the age of 15, I won a Golden Gloves. And then I went to an Olympic trial when I was 17 and I almost made the Olympics team, but I lost. But anyways, his drive and his work ethic, it reminded me a lot of what I did.
Right.
I was a kid and I was running in Denver. I lived in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
There was a park nearby where I would run every day, and it would snow. And my dad's like, "There's something wrong with you, boy." Okay, only a crazy man. And I go, "I like boxing," and they told me I needed to run.
Yeah.
They didn't say if it was snowing or raining. They said you need to run.
Right.
Okay, so I'd run, and it didn't matter to me if it was snowing, raining. I didn't care. I'm gonna get the job done because I liked the sport and I wanted to get better.
Right.
And that was Kobe, man.
good.
Kobe had a drive that nobody could match.
Yeah. Rich.
Sounds so generic. Larry Bird.
It's not generic.
I know. Well, all right, so I'm from Arkansas originally.
Yeah.
And my hometown's not really as small as most people would think. But Larry Bird was from a small town in Indiana. He was always the underdog.
Yeah.
He never won a national championship, right? He got beat by Magic.
Beat by
right?
Magic. Yeah.
And I love me some 80s basketball, right? Because they didn't flop. They didn't complain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was almost like hockey
Yeah.
kind of rules. But
Yeah.
I can just remember watching, the Celtics, Lakers on a TV, and you had to get the antennas right in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, staying with my dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is, go on the weekend and
Yeah.
be going on. I always managed to be there for, that's how he wasn't any good at basketball. My dad was horrible at it. But he liked the sport, and he was the one who got me into it. And my mom is responsible for all the other things.
Yeah.
But Larry Bird, and I didn't realize I liked him so much. Until he got into the Olympic team, and he had a lot of grit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Yes, he did.
Not necessarily the.
Pulling out the
I know,
word.
right? You didn't think I was going to do
There
it.
you go.
He was
But he-
not afraid to talk trash.
No, and he would tell you that what he was about to do to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to take one dribble to the left, switch it over, and hit you with a right hand layup.
Yeah.
And I watched a little clip about him the other day, but I love Larry Bird.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
How about you?
Not a single one.
No.
No.
Not one.
I'm not an NBA fan at all. I mean, the easiest thing to say would be like Michael Jordan because
Yeah.
he was a Tar Heel, but I mean,
Fair enough.
no, I don't like the NBA. Period.
Okay. All right.
James Worthy.
Well, I would go like for me, it's Isaiah Thomas, and I'll tell you why. He had, well, number one, he was playing at a time when you had Jordan, you had Magic, you had Bird, and I was like, I kind of like the little guy. You know, you were saying the underdog. I don't know that I would consider Isaiah Thomas an underdog, but he was a little guy, but he was feisty and like he would fight you if it came down to it. And he had the prettiest finger roll of anybody in the NBA, and I wanted to emulate that. Man, that guy, I love
Better than
Isaiah.
Clyde?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Never won a championship.
No, I was talking about the finger roll.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not as pretty if you don't win one.
Is that yours? Is that your guy?
No.
Who's your guy?
No. And mine's going to be different. I mean, yes, he's a great player and all, but my reasons why are not because of just the basketball. It's off the court stuff. Dirk Nowitzki.
Okay. I
Good-
mean, I guess if I had one, he would
Good
be.
guy, loyal to his club,
Yeah. Yep.
loyal to the community,
Love the city.
Still pretty loyal, actually.
and then
Yeah,
just
really.
and never had that reputation of being a bad teammate or being,
Doing
just
stupid stuff, right? Yeah.
yeah, doing dumb stuff.
Getting in trouble.
So
Yeah.
those are my reasons behind it. Not just because if I just wanted to pick the best player ever, it'd be
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Right.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Please.
The GOAT,
Please say it
Jordan.
again.
Yeah.
Let's just say this: the only bad decision Dirk ever made was his haircut when he came into the league. But after that, he was
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's fair. Jared?
So I'm also with Katrina. I'm not an NBA fan.
Yeah.
Never have been. I don't think I ever can make myself be. Like, I'll watch them every once in a while. Their games are boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think NBA games are boring.
Yeah.
They're too long.
Well, this
10
question
minutes.
backfired.
Okay, here we go. Too long. But
Let's 2
if I had to
minutes.
choose a player,
Yeah.
he didn't play in play much, and he wasn't. But Pete Maravich is a point guard that I always wanted to be.
Did you
he
ever
was-
see him play?
I did not ever like. I watched the movie.
Was he
I
mad?
watched like as a kid.
No, he
and
was
so
a
like
buck.
he was a distributor.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
knew how to handle the ball. He knew how to get players open, but he also could take his own shot.
Okay.
Right.
And so I always wanted to be that
Yeah.
Yeah.
as I was growing up. Because I was, if you can imagine, I was I was 5'8" my freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
I went from 5'8" to 6'2" between my freshman and sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
How bad does your knees hurt?
Absolutely horribly bad.
Your feet.
Absolutely. So yeah.
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 I just thought you were always big.
No, I was I was a point guard all the way up through. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Well, okay, so maybe the NBA thing was a little bit of a flop, but
No.
but I really wanted to get to this with you guys, and that is you guys are all experienced veteran referees. You deal with things that come out of the bleachers in the crowd. You guys mentioned, the second and third grade level, Jared, and them not really having anything to say back to you. They're just
but the
appreciative.
parents do.
But the parents do. And so, Renee, I'll start with you. I'm curious, how do you handle that? What do you have like a go-to thing you tell the parents, or how do you handle it?
No,
hear
I
them?
mean,
Do you hear
most of the time, I don't hear them. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm more focused on the kids,
Yeah.
And like when I'm up against them or something, and then I'll turn around and I'll see. Sometimes if you guys will notice, I'll come out of halftime, right, and I'll be walking with the ball, and I'll see somebody in the crowd, and I'll just toss the ball to them, right,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, oh, and then they'll catch it. And I'm like, oh, sorry, glad you woke up right there. I almost caught you sleeping, That kind of breaks the tension with everybody because everybody sees that, you know what I mean? And then at the same time, like if they do say something, they won't say it like when I'm right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And most of the time, I really don't have that problem. I don't. I just don't.
Yeah.
I can't explain why. I don't know. But
Yeah.
and like I said, most of the time I don't. I'm watching the kid, man. I'm
Sure.
I'm in my once I'm on the court, and I'm like, hey, you guys ready? We ready? And the ball's up. That's it. Everybody else is kind of. oblivious to me. I'm like in my own little world, and I'm like, I'm having fun, man. I'm having fun.
That's great because you were telling me that you get a kick out of throwing people out of the gym.
True.
No, he didn't.
But he and I are like exact opposites though, because I hear everything. I write it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't write it down. But no, I do hear it. I kind of feed off that. But
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by you feed off of it?
like I like the controversy.
challenge?
I like the controversy.
Really?
Well, yeah, I mean I do because like it doesn't matter what happens. Like I'm not gonna change the call for
Yeah.
you. So whatever
Yeah,
I call is right. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
You know, I would be a bad referee if I went back and changed
Right,
the
right,
call.
right.
Right. So I'm gonna stick by it. But yeah, I'm the king of one-liners, right? So when I'm
You are.
when I'm taking it out up there, I usually get the parents on my side to begin with, just saying, just showing that I'm a human too.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not a robot out there making calls. And the parents that come to the parents and the family and friends that come to every game, they understand that. It's the ones that come during
one-offs.
the uncle that came to 2 games this year, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the all the cousins that came to the finals game. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like they don't know. And that's fine. But that atmosphere is just electric. But we're human too.
Jordan uncle, right?
Oh, yeah.
He sees every foul and
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, I also
He's
tell
way
them
back
that we
there, but
need
Yeah.
lots of volunteers, and that I can get some information to them.
Right.
That they can come call some games.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that you brought up, and I'm really proud of our league for doing, is we really try to integrate the referees pregame. Before we do our devotional or any of that, and we pray before the game, we try to acknowledge the referees as much as possible because it does make you human to people
Yeah.
that otherwise don't see you that way. It's not just a black and white striped shirt.
I'm not out here collecting a check.
Exactly.
I'm doing this for other reasons.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's also more helpful when we got guys that have been around for a while.
Yeah.
So they've seen you since their kid was in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're more of a person instead of just the guy we hired on Saturday to come out here and ref a game.
Yeah.
But I don't, most of the time, I don't hear parents and coaches until the play stoppage. And then that's when I hear it. But all the years of coaching and refereeing has taught me just to ignore them, just ignore that.
Yeah.
I have had a couple that at some point finally just start irritating you to the point that you want to just, do you want to volunteer? Because we take volunteers.
Yeah.
But I usually try to wait till after the game and then I crack some kind of joke with them or whatever.
Right. And so, Jared, he mentioned the word coaches. So I'm going to ask you, if you were to give advice to coaches on how best to deal with referees in game, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think talk, ask questions, show that you're on you're there for your players, but you're also like, hey, that was the right call. Like talking to them about even
good.
if it's against your team. I think just like a ref getting the crowd to understand their people, helping that ref know like, hey, I see you and you're doing a great job and your job is hard.
Right.
Those coaches are a lot easier as a ref to interact with, because if they're really complaining about a call, they really saw something different than you saw.
Yeah.
And you're like, all you have to say is like, hey, this is how I saw it. And you know that the next call, you're going to be fine. Right. And especially, parents wise too, like, there's times, especially at the younger levels, that I'll turn around and be like, hey, it's okay. Like, we're going to move on. I might have missed that. Like, sometimes at those levels, like, I'm just like, hey, you know what? This happened, and this is how I called it. We're going to roll on. And just have fun with them, right? The coaches that I think the biggest, and I've as a coach, I've made this mistake, like, just continuing to talk about the same call. Like, that's...
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're past that.
Right.
And so I know Katrina's going to love this one, but I think I was coaching second grade and I had this clipboard and we have metal chairs.
Yeah.
And, so I got pretty upset one day.
That poor
And
clipboard.
I did not throw the clipboard, but I dropped it, and I dropped it on purpose right on the chair.
Was this your
You
Bobby
could
Knight moment?
Hear it through the entire gym. So don't do that. I learned quickly to not do that.
Right.
Break?
Huh? No,
okay.
I literally dropped it. So, just talk to them. They know that they're going to miss a call.
Yeah.
Like as refs, we know we're going to miss a call.
Yeah.
We can't see everything.
Right.
And conversation.
you guys are really good at that, about conversing with the coaches and developing relationship.
One of the things I do, okay, if you haven't noticed, is before every game, I walk up to the coaches. Hey, man, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Yeah.
You know, shake their hand, give them a nice hug. Good to see you. You know, that kind of thing. And I'll do it to both coaches. You know, I'm glad you guys are here, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'll go to center court and I'll say, all right, man, send me my captains. Let's do this.
Right.
You know, that kind of breaks the tension too, because, you know, it makes us humans, like you said, you know, hey, I'm here for the same reason you are. You know, we're us refs and the coaches and you guys, we're all here for one reason, right? And that's for the kids, man. You know, my mindset is for the kids.
Yeah.
You know, if your mindset isn't for the kids, then you shouldn't be here. Right. Because it's not about us or Jared or no, it's, you know, our time has come and gone. You know, my glory days are over, brother.
Yeah.
All I can do is relive them, but I'd like to see it through the kids. You know what I'm saying? Through them, you know?
And you know, you talk a lot. Well, first of all, I love your approach. I think that is what disarms people in the bleachers, is because of the way that you approach the game. But we talk a lot about discipleship in our league, and we talk about discipling not just the players but the coaches as well. And I think it goes a long way when you guys have that rapport and relationship with them. Which leads me to the next question, and I'll ask you: how do you incorporate Christ into what it is that you do as a referee? If there's other referees out there that are watching this and saying, you know, I'm a believer, but I don't really bring that to the court with me, what are ways that you can do that?
One of the number one ways I think that you can open the door to even speak to somebody is to get a relationship. And you just got to talk to people like people to have a relationship, because you can't come at them with the gospel or something like that.
Yeah.
If they're against it and you have no relationship with them, because the doors are open to talk to somebody who's on the opposite side of the fence than you when you're just having a relationship. I've get players that in years that I didn't coach, that all I did was referee, that I had a player last year that brought me a gift at the end of the season, just like he did as coach. It was his last game before he's moved on to 7th grade, and thanked me. And I know his parents because of him. I can talk to him on the side about whatever I want.
Yeah.
And you just got to get a relationship, however you can.
Yeah. You have an opinion on this?
I saw your head spinning.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He's got something really good.
So I think for me, especially in the younger levels, like I got the opportunity to open up with prayer. Like if they know, like this is what we're here for.
Yeah.
Now, not every ref, again, in every league is going to have that opportunity. But I think how we hold ourselves, how we interact with each other shows how we can have a relationship with someone, and that gives us some credibility. If we're always just be like, nope, you're wrong. Like if we're not willing to listen, not willing to interact, if we're not willing to answer questions every once in a while, but really just starting off like, hey, this is why we're here.
Right.
As a coach, as a ref, like my biggest things were always like, hey, we're here to learn, we're here to get better, and we're here not just to play basketball, but to love Jesus, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
No.
You know, I think of, you know, what if Jesus was a referee and he had a whistle out there on the court? I mean,
Don't argue with him.
So right. But you know, as I'm reffing younger kids, you know, the thought crossed my mind, and this wasn't a question, but this is just what I thought about. You know, if Jesus was out there with a whistle, would he just blow the whistle, make the call, and move on? No. Or, right, he wouldn't. Or would he smile at the kid and say, "Hey, bud, good job, but you really did foul him. All right, I gotta uphold the law because I did come to fulfill the law.
Yeah.
But good job. Like, just keep working at it. You're good. So, I mean, I think to answer your question, to do the job in a way that is responsible, it takes your job seriously, yet at the same time, you're adding dignity and value to that kid.
Yep.
I think that's what Jesus would do if he had one of my pink whistles on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would be
Yeah.
pink, but
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Really good. Okay, I have this one specific for you, Renee. I'm going to test your knowledge on the league.
Here we go.
All right. You had, in 5th and 6th grade, you had all 8 of the teams.
The only division that had all eight of the
Right.
teams.
Can you name all 8 teams?
Yes. Hurricanes, Wolverines, Cougars, Pirates, Aztecs, Huskies, and there's one more.
There's two more.
Huskies.
No hints. We already.
Huskies.
He had the list last night.
Oh, you can throw a life now if you need to.
Aztecs. No. Hold on. I know who they are. I gotta see them. in
the
my
two
head.
you
You're
had to
missing
ask.
green. You're missing green and dark red.
Green are the Cougars.
Yeah.
Dark. Oh, the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Bulldogs
And green.
and
Think of the swamp.
They live in the swamp.
the Gators.
There you go. There you
I
go.
told you it was the two you asked about.
He did pause on those two.
Hey, I think it's funny that you asked him before me, obviously, and he didn't give you the answers, but I.
Yeah, like they were given this question beforehand, and apparently there was some collusion going on.
We were
I
texting.
told him I didn't tell him, and then he came
I
back
was like, I
and,
did.
said, "Oh, never mind." I go, and Richard's like, "Yeah, that's because I told him."
I thought you were going to come.
No,
in with, like, your
I had
paper
them in my
filled out.
phone. I had them in my phone.
So-
I had to be up early and I had to be out. I didn't have time.
I got you. It's the life of a referee.
He was cramming. He was
All
cramming
right,
for
so
his test.
last thing, and I want you to keep this to a one-word thing. Okay. All right, if you can, I want you to. And I'll start, Jared. I'll start with you. Just go down the line of these other 3 men that are here with you, and give me one word of the attribute that you respect the most about them.
Yeah.
If you can. If you need to go more than one word, you can.
Charlie, passionate. Richard,
There's so many.
Some of them you can't say on this podcast. So let's keep those out of them.
A true Razorback is what I would say.
I think he's encouraging.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like he's not the one to talk a lot to the players, but
Yeah.
in his confidence, he's encouraging them
Yeah.
as they go along.
Right.
And then Renee, like just a connector. Like he
that's
knows how to connect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great one.
Yeah.
That's a great one. All right, your
You
turn.
also can't use the same words.
That's why I went first.
For Jared, just love the game
Yeah.
to be out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
For Renee, it's just the way he loves to be with the kids.
Yeah.
And Richard is my disciplinarian.
Good cop, bad cop is what it is.
That's
I mean, and that's not. I mean, that's
You-
not
you
bad.
know,
That's
mom, dad, however you want to put it.
disciplinarian isn't
I'm
bad.
bad, by the
It's
way.
like you know the rules. You've got your guidelines, and
yeah.
this is what I want you to do.
Yeah.
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 It's no
Very good.
mercy.
Well, you're up. You're up.
You're a great teacher.
Yeah.
You're like you take the extra time to teach. Where I'm like, hey, these guys are in 5th and 6th grades. I'm going to give them a little bit, but like
Yeah.
you take the extra time. This one's kind of albeit, but you love your kids. I see you holding that baby. You know what I'm saying? And I know you love other people's kids too. You know, and it's just. I mean, it's just amazing. I wanted to ask you to hold your baby daughter one time, but you looked like you were like not with it. So, anyways, later. And then Charlie's my voice of reason sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, did we do that right?
Yeah.
Did this work out right? And he's like, yeah, you're great. And I'm like, okay, because
Yeah.
like I
Voice
felt
of
like
reason.
some other,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. That's good.
you need someone to have your back sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Charlie's got my back. So
Yeah.
When I'm not goating them,
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Renee?
going on tee 'em up.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, Rich, you're my stickler.
Yeah.
You know, there's no leeway with you, bro. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you something.
You know?
The kindergarten games the other day I didn't realize I was doing kindergartners, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, don't forget these kids are 5," and I was like, "Oh Lord of mercy."
Can we start this
Were you
game?
yelling?
Yeah.
Traveling. You drove
So
your foot.
thank you. Hey, we got to get ready for the next level. You know,
See what I mean?
You were getting over.
I'm getting ready for the next level.
For Charlie, he's the coordinator. You keep everything so smooth, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for you here, bro, I don't know what would happen with us. You know, I really don't.
Games
You
might
know.
go a little longer.
Yeah, you know.
We were
You
on.
know what I'm saying? I mean, our games are so smooth. Everything goes so. It's just like clockwork, you know. And you make that happen, bro. You know what I mean? And Jared, for you, bro, you're like me. You know, you love what you do, bro. You love it. You know, you're. I'm gonna put it in 2 words. You're basketball passionate. You know, this game flows through your blood, bro. You know, and you love the kids just like I love these kids. I love these kids, you know. And for me, it adds on because I get to go on to another season. And some of these boys I see out there in the baseball field, you know, and they see me. You're like, I'll be behind the plate. They'll come up to the plate. They'll be up there with their bat. They look at me, they'll be like, "What's up, Blue?" You know? and I'm like, who is this kid? And I look and I'm like, "Oh, Trent. What's up, boy?"
Yeah.
And then I'll give him a high five, and the other team be like, hey, what's going on over here?
Yeah.
You know? So I'll have to turn around and give the catcher a high five. "Hey, what's up, man? High five," you know?
Yeah.
Keep it fair, but that's what I mean, you know, like it transcends for me because I get to see them not only for basketball, you know.
Yeah.
What saddens me is that they have to go, you know, like this year, opposed to prior years, I took a picture with all my 6th graders, all of them that were moving on. And I told my wife, I'm going to give every one of them a hug. Okay. And I did. I gave every one of them a hug.
Right.
I wished them the best in their life. And I thanked them for letting me be a part
Yeah.
of a small part of their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the best feeling, and I know this is more so on my coaching side, but when I see a grown man with his children come up to me at the grocery store or whatever and give me a hug and say, "How you doing, Coach?" Yeah. 2 grown men hugging me, you know, in the grocery store because I coached him when he was
Yeah. That's awesome.
this tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now he's, 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, that happened to me in the championship game. Little B and
Yeah.
Coach D's son.
Yeah.
Right, Little B.
That's the
Remember
one
how
that I was talking about.
That they give, you know, when they give you something. Little B gave me something last year. I can't tell you what it was, but you know what I'm saying? It touched me. It touched me. I still have it. It's at my house. But when they were here, he walks up to me and he goes, "Hey, what's going on, ref?" And he's like this now. And I'm like, "Whoa, what's going on, B?" And I just got, oh man, I was so happy to see him. You know, I gave him a hug. I gave little Ben a hug. You know, for me, that's the most benefiting factor for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's no words that can describe my feeling, you know?
Yeah. So what you're telling me is if I wait long enough, one of them's going to come up to me and say, "You were right."
You just keep going to the grocery store.
Just keep looking.
Hey, did you ever hear me say that they said I was right about anything?
Just said hi.
They said hi and gave me a hug.
You know what?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
you get a hard time, but I will say this about you, and man, I mean this. Like there was one week, and I don't even remember when it was, but we were doing games here at the LC, and I was by myself at the scores table, and so I had the clock and the books, and you were part of that game.
Makeup week.
It was makeup week,
Makeup week.
and I'm gonna admit it, and I'll never admit it again. So get it now.
Okay.
But
Hang on.
I was so thankful
Write it down.
that you were reffing that game because your professionalism and the way you handle yourself on that court is so incredible. And I really, truly enjoy that. So,
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
I will never compliment you again as long as I live.
I'm going to beg for him every day when I come to the gym.
No, but no,
Compliment today.
I'm sincere about that. Like you are absolute professionalism is the
Thank
word that comes to my mind when I think about you.
Yeah.
And I got to say something about these guys now because, but no, truly, like your heart whether it be for kids or basketball or whatever. Like, I wish that we could just take your heart and have 100 of them to give the rest of our people in this league, because you truly are, man, I love that about you. Jared, whether it be the knowledge of the game but I think people have said passion about you. You helped us so much this season, both of you, by the way, but you helped us so much, even with practices. You're volunteering to come up here and take practice night. Like, you have no idea how thankful. I think I speak for both of us that it is just incredible, both of you guys. But your knowledge of the game, and let me tell you, I've known you for a long time, Charlie, and being in this role, this admin type role over, whether it be fourth grade or just LC in general, you try to get everything to be as good as you can make it. But you need somebody to stand right beside you and go, hey, did you think about this? And half the time I go, I didn't at all. And I'm so thankful that you're there. From an LC standpoint, forget about the fact that you're a great coach and you ref great and you do all those things, but just as I hesitate to say right hand man, because that sounds like less than. I mean, to be beside us and what we do, we are so thankful. Yeah.
And guys, you guys are like, you're our brand.
Yeah.
Like if Jesus is our purpose and basketball is the avenue, you guys are the ones that make it happen.
Yeah.
This league is not what it is without you guys. What, like 18 years, 2019, 8 years, 5 years, without the consistency of like-hearted people. This basketball league is just another basketball league.
100%.
But because you guys give what you give, and that's just yourselves and your passion, and you are who you are, seriously, without you guys, it wouldn't be the same.
And we talk about this almost weekly, about how somebody every week will come up and say, we love what your league stands for and what you are. That is y'all.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that is the coaches that are volunteering in this league. That is you guys that are pouring in and building that rapport with people and relationships. It is so easy to do this job, and I'm telling you, like, you guys are phenomenal, and we hope that 5 years from now, we're all six of us back at this table doing this again.
So thank you.
Yeah.
If God grants me life, man, I'm gonna keep doing this until my body won't let me anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not doing this next year.
Yeah. No.
Oh, this is a one-year thing. Oh,
Before we go though, I want to thank you guys. Because if it wasn't for you guys doing this, where would we be? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also for keeping me on. Thank you guys, man.
Absolutely.
When
I would like to point out about this league. I mean, and here's a really good example. He joined the church through this league. He came and joined the church through this league. I joined this church through this league.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to another church.
Right.
I was looking for a place, whatever. But
Yeah.
this,
we actually did. We went to 2 churches.
yeah.
And the first one, my wife was like, "Oh no."
we all know she makes the decision.
And the second one was like, "What do you think?" She goes, "What do you think?" And I don't know. She goes, I go, you know what? Charlie invited us to service at Lake Church. I go, I do the lake. I know the kids. And she goes, well, let's go. And we've been coming ever since.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are like home to us, and that is the same thing that we want our families to feel like. When they walk into the doors of the LC or Oak Ridge or Young or ABU, they feel at home. So it's the same feeling.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can see we're blessed beyond measure, and we value these guys so much. And these are 4 of many, that we get to interact with as coaches and on an every week basis. We are so fortunate. This league is something special. I think everybody here feels that way, not because of anything that we do, but just because God gives us the provision and just continues to give through men like you guys. So thank you. That is a wrap on this basketball season. Our podcast will be back because soccer season is really around the corner. But thank you.
March Madness.
So is March Madness.
Go Maggie's
So is the women's March
Woo
Madness.
pig.
That's
Woo
right.
pig.
That's right. But until then, this has been episode 35. I cannot believe we're still on the air. after 35 episodes, but we are. So thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Man, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed hearing us ramble about youth sports or other strangely interesting sports topics related to families, please go and like and subscribe to the show so that you can get regular updates when a new podcast is released. We'd also love to connect with you. Head on over to our socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We're under LC Sports and Recreation.
And if you're new to our podcast, go check out some of our previous episodes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. There's some good stuff on there. And pay attention because these come out pretty quickly, weekly, as a matter of fact. And you're going to learn a lot about what we have to say with regards to our league and how to win with the home team.